It was supposed to be just a vigil. Nothing special, just one of those night prayers they hold when the month is about to end. The kind your neighbor invites you to because God fit talk your matter tonight. I didn't plan to go. But NEPA had taken light for 3 days straight, and my rechargeable lamp had died since morning. No TV, no fan, no peace. So when Mama Nkechi knocked on my door at 6:42 p.m., wearing white and holding her Bible like she had just finished fighting one demon, I nodded before she even finished talking. "A crossover vigil," she said. "One night only. You go come back new." "New, Abi," I smiled. Maybe I even needed that, the church no-get signboard. Just one big compound with sand everywhere and a half-finished building in the middle. No windows, just curtains. They called in the Holy Revival Ark. As I entered, one usher with long gown and serious forehead looked at me from head to toe. "Drop your phone for the offering bowl," he said. I froze. "Sorry?" Nothing worldly allowed. Even ring, wristwatch, or chewing gum, drop em. I chuckled. I thought he was joking, until he pointed to one guy at the back where they sweep floor barefoot. "That one wear earpiece last week, he still they sweep since." Omo. I dropped my phone. Inside was packed. People they pray, they shout, they roll for ground. The air smelled of sweat, anointing oil, and panic. The pastor came out wearing all white, his eyes red like someone who hasn't blinked in days. He looked straight at me. Not the crowd me. "You," he said, voice loud like thunder. "The Lord said you carry secret sin." Everybody turned, even the woman where they cry before paused to look. I almost laugh. "Me? Secret sin? Bro, I no even get data this month, na sin be that?" But something about the way his eyes glowed made my stomach twist. They started the vigil with the chain-breaking prayer, 3 hours, no sitting. Just shout your past sins until you start crying. One guy confessed to stealing meat from pot in 1998. Another woman cried about how she lied to her landlord about school fees. When it reached my turn, I laughed it off and said, "I know too get sin like Una." The pastor smiled, but it wasn't a good smile. "You dey lie," he whispered, "and the walls know." After the final worship, I looked around for the exit. I was tired, hungry, and low-key, ready to go back to my boring, hot room. That's when I noticed something. There was only one door, the same one I came through, but it wasn't there anymore. Instead, there was a different door, wooden, narrow, and carved with symbols I no understand. The usher appeared beside me. "That's your way out," he said. "You're clean now." I stepped forward and opened it and stepped into my room, my exact room. Same broken fan, same bedsheet, same jollof stain on the curtain. But something felt off. There was no sound. Outside, no generator hum, no dogs barking, no Mama Ifeoma shouting at her children next door. Just silence. I turned around. The door was gone, and in its place, written on my wall with what looked like charcoal, was one sentence. "Confess what you refuse to say, or start again." And then the light blinked. The bulb in my room flickered twice, and I heard singing. That same choir from the vigil. But I was in my room. I checked my wall clock. It was 6:42 p.m., the exact time Mama Nkechi had knocked. Then I heard the knock again. "You ready for the vigil?" a voice said from outside. My phone was back in my pocket, the battery full. The same usher now standing outside my door like nothing happened. "Omo, what kind vigil be this?" I no fit lie. My body they sweat, but cold they catch me. I looked around my room again. Everything looked the same, but the air felt heavy, like when rain won't fall but the clouds never open. Then that voice came again, this time from inside my bathroom. "Confess." I jumped. "Hello? Who they there?" No answer, just slow dripping water from the bathroom tap, where I swear I locked since morning. I picked up my phone. Still 6:42 p.m., still full battery, but no network, not even glow bar. I opened WhatsApp. All my chats deleted. Only one contact day for the list now. Holy Revival Ark, and under it the last message read, "You skipped one, the one you buried." CN, I'm not even the deep spiritual type, but this one passed my level. I decided to do the only reasonable thing, run. I grabbed my slippers, opened my door, and boom, I was back inside the church. Same crowd, same sweat. Same pastor with red eyes staring at me like I just stole tithe money. But now, everybody was singing one song, low and slow, like mourners. "Talk what?" I screamed. The pastor pointed again. "There is something you did, and until you confess it, you go de loop." My knees got weak. I fell to the floor. "But I no even remember anything," I shouted. The usher from before walked, close and whispered, "Then think well, brother. Sin no day forget face." They dragged me to the front. One spotlight hit me like theater. Everybody else faded into shadows. I could only see the pastor, the mic, and one empty chair in the middle of the altar. They told me to sit. Then, one after the other, people from my past started walking in. First was Amaka. She sat beside me, looking just like the last day I saw her. Tears in her eyes. "You never told anyone what you did," she said. I gasped. "Amaka, but you moved abroad. You're not even—" She vanished. Then came Kunle, my old neighbor, the one that got arrested for stealing, but it wasn't him. "You framed me," he whispered. My chest tightened. I didn't know they'd take it that far. He vanished too. I started crying. For real. Like deep from the soul, crying. "Please," I begged the pastor. "I'm sorry, I want to confess everything. Please, just let me go." The pastor looked at me with pity. "It's not me you're confessing to. The wall is waiting." I turned. To the wall. The same one that had the charcoal writing before. Now it had turned into a mirror, and my reflection was smiling. But I wasn't. Then the mirror cracked. Not shattered, just cracked in a perfect circle. The kind of crack that looks like a door. Behind it I could hear my mum singing softly, that same lullaby she used to sing when I had nightmares. I stood there, staring at my door. The red glow wasn't normal light. It pulsed, like a heartbeat, like something inside the house was alive and waiting. I looked around my compound. Neighbors' houses looked the same, but somehow older. Faded. Walls, rusty gates. Even the mango tree beside my fence looked dried up. I knocked on my own door. Knock, knock. Silence. I turned the handle and entered. The room was pitch dark. Then the bulb came on without NEPA. My heart started to pound, because sitting on my bed was me, but not me now. Younger me, secondary school me. The one with skinny neck and oversized house shirt. He was holding a Bible in one hand and a bloodied envelope in the other. "Sit down," he said, without looking up. I couldn't move. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. "You remember what happened that night after fellowship, with Mummy Doyen's phone?" My chest tightened. "No, not that. Not that memory. I told you not to lie," younger me said. "But you did, and now the lie has grown wings." The mirror on the wall cracked. Again. This time, instead of a reflection, I saw scenes like a film. Me, age 16, alone in the church office, finding that phone, opening things I shouldn't have opened, forwarding things I shouldn't have forwarded. That small mistake had caused one woman to lose her marriage, a scandal, a breakdown. And I had buried it so deep, even I forgot, but the ark didn't forget. I fell to my knees. "God, I beg," I sobbed. "I no even remember how bad it be. I was just a child. I thought it was small. I thought." A loud knock echoed from outside. Again, then a voice. "Are you ready now?" I rushed to the window. This time it wasn't Mama and Kechi, it was my father. But he died 2 years ago. He was wearing the same white clothes from his burial photo. He didn't smile, he just stared. "You must complete the loop," he said, "or the door never closes." Then the wall peeled open. Yes, peeled. Like paper. Behind. It was that same church again, same curtain, same floor. But this time, empty, no members, no pastor. Just rows of old wooden chairs and one big black Bible in the center, open on the pulpit. The wind blew through, but no windows moved. I stepped forward. I had no phone, no slippers, no idea if I was awake or dreaming. But I knew one thing. I had to finish this vigil, even if it killed me. As I touched the Bible, it closed itself, and behind me the door slammed shut. One candle lit up on its own, and a voice whispered, soft but close, "Welcome back. Confession begins Now. The candle flickered. Then another lit up, and another, until the whole church was glowing with orange flames, but the kind that don't burn. Just watch. Yes. The candles were watching me. Their flames tilted any time I moved, like eyes following my every step. Then the Bible opened itself again. Pages fluttered like it was being blown by a breeze that only it could feel. It stopped on one page. Blank. No chapter. No verse. Just my full name written in red ink. Ifeanyi C. Oathbreaker. My chest tightened. Oathbreaker? Me? When? And that's when I heard my voice. But from the altar. I turned. There I was again, but this time in full white. Face blank. Eyes glowing. I spoke, but not with my mouth. The altar version of me raised his hand, and a loud voice echoed through the church. You vowed. Under breath, with tears, and still you broke it. Suddenly I remembered age 17, after my mother was sick. I'd prayed and cried and shouted into the night. God, if you heal her, I swear I go serve you forever. No lies, no games, just you. And he did, but I didn't. The moment she got better, I ghosted church, started clubbing, ran small Yahoo format, told myself it was just survival. That night, I forgot the vow, but the ark didn't. You'd carry too many broken promises, the altar version of me said. That's why the door no go open. Then the walls started moving, not falling, not shaking, just shifting. The benches arranged themselves into a circle around me. In the air, faces began to appear. Some I knew, some I didn't. All of them looked disappointed. All of them whispered, say the truth. Own it. Finish what you started. Then the Bible turned into a bowl of water. The voice returned. Drinks or repeat the loop again. I reached for the bowl. My hands were shaking like NEPA voltage. The water inside wasn't clear. It showed flashes, visions, memories I buried. That girl I lied to just to sleep with her. The fake CV I used to collect someone's internship. The money I found and never returned. The cousin I mocked behind his back but smiled to his face. I couldn't breathe. I'm sorry, I whispered. The candles blew out. Everything went black. Then I opened my eyes, back in my room again. Normal room, fan working. Light bulb steady. My phone on my table. Buzzing, 6:43 p.m. 1 minute later, I picked the phone. A text message. From an unknown number. Well done. Confession received, but one sin remains. The one you committed in your dreams. My phone powered off, and the door creaked open on its own. Outside was not my compound anymore. It was the church again, but this time, it was upside down. I stood at the door of my room, staring into the upside-down church. Yes, upside down. The pews were hanging from the ceiling like bats. The pulpit was above my head. Candles stood straight, but their flames pointed down, yet somehow, it didn't fall. Gravity didn't care anymore, and neither did I. I took one step forward and my leg rose. Omo, no joke, I was walking up, like Sena's spiritual moonwalk. My body was doing backflip I didn't sign up for. By the time I reached the altar, which was now above my head, everything went still. Then came the voice. That same soft whisper that always sounded like it was beside me, even when no one was there. Your sin in sleep is the one you fear in waking. Suddenly, the floor beneath my feet turned into glass. I looked down and saw myself, sleeping on my bed, peacefully. Then, the scene started playing like a movie, me tossing and turning. Then I sat up, eyes wide open but still asleep. I stood, walked to my drawer, pulled something out, a piece of paper. Then I opened my wardrobe and... Omo. I froze. There was a journal. One I didn't recognize, hidden between my old school clothes. Watched sleeping me open it and flip to the last page. Operation Burn Everything Plan if caught. It was in my handwriting, but I didn't remember writing that. Then I saw the worst part, a name list. People I hated, people I envied, even my own cousin, and next to each name was a word, erased. My heart pounded. No, I never planned this, But the dream version of me kept going. He folded the paper, lit a match, burnt it, then climbed back into bed, smiling. Back in the upside-down church, thunder cracked. Lightning flashed across the walls. The voice returned. You think because you didn't remember, you didn't act. You think sins of the mind don't leave fingerprints? You entered with secrets, you'll leave with scars, or not at all. Suddenly the candles turned black. Not off just black flames. And every flame whispered something I had thought before but never said aloud. I wish he failed. She doesn't deserve that promotion. I'm better than all of them. God, no, go judge me, I'm trying now. Just this one time, na survival. The flames grew louder, echoing those words like chant. My ears rang, I covered my face, and then silence. When I opened my eyes, the church was gone. I was sitting in a chair, a real one this time. Opposite me, on another chair, was a small boy. About 10, barefoot, dusty face. But his eyes were too old for his body. He handed me a mirror. This is who you are when no one is watching. I looked and screamed, because the person in the mirror wasn't me, it was the pastor from the vigil. Red eyes, white robe, tired face. But this time, the reflection spoke. You've been judging others while running from your own judgment. The boy stood up and pointed to a door behind him. My last chance. I could feel it in my bones. If you go through that one, you can wake up, he said. But whatever you leave behind stays behind, forever. I looked at the door, then back, in the mirror, and the pastor in the reflection winked. I no go lie. My legs no dey stable again. The moment that small, barefoot boy pointed at the door, my heart started to misbehave like generator with bad fuel. The mirror in my hand? Still dey show that pastor. But now, he was smiling wider, in bleeding from the eyes. You dey close, the boy whispered, but everything you take through that door will haunt you. Unless you pay the price. I turned to him slowly. Which price? He shrugged like saying a pure water matter. Memory, regret, or someone you love. Omo. This was no longer confession. This was transaction. I walked toward the door. It wasn't special, just plain wood, no design, no lock. But the moment I touched it, everything changed. The candles went off, the chair disappeared. And that small boy, he started growing. I kid you not. In front of my eyes, the boy began to stretch, his arms, his legs, his neck. He grew taller, older, darker, until he was towering over me, face hidden in shadow. When he spoke again, his voice was no longer a whisper. Confession earns entry. Sacrifice opens the door. Then he stepped back into the dark and vanished. I turned the handle. The door opened with a sound like thunder rolling through metal. And what I saw inside, Omo na room. My room. Again, but this time everything was reversed. The bed was on the ceiling, my clothes folded backward, my wall clock moving anti-clockwise. The calendar, now still today's date, but 2014. I stepped inside. Boom. I was wearing my old school uniform, stained, white shirt, loose khaki trousers. My phone rang. I looked down. BlackBerry Curve 3. That same one way I used to borrow airtime like oxygen. I picked. The voice on the other end was mine. This is your last chance. If you fix what you did in 2014, you'll wake up clean. If not, the Ark will claim your memory forever. I dropped the phone, and the room began to melt. Yes, melt. Walls dripping like hot wax. Floor turning to water. Bed slowly burning, but in reverse. The flames were freezing everything. Then I heard footsteps outside my window. Knock, knock, knock. Bros, you dey ready for vigil? It was Mama Nkechi's voice. Again. It's 42 p.m. Again. The end. Loop was closing in. I ran to the door, grabbed the handle, and screamed, I confess everything. I lied, I stole, I hurt people and never looked back. I judged, I forgot God even after he helped me. Suddenly everything stopped. Silence. I was standing in a white room, completely empty. No candles, no clock, just one mirror on the wall. I walked up to it, and for the first time, I saw myself. Just me. Tired. Wounded. But real. Then Behind me, a door creaked open. I turned. Bright light. Voices singing softly. I took a step forward, and as I crossed the threshold, the moment I stepped through that final door, the light swallowed me like floodlight on blackout night. I squeezed my eyes shut, and when I opened them, I was back in church. But not the Holy Revival Ark. This one was different. The air smelled clean. There were no sweat-stained benches, no screaming ushers, no red-eyed pastor. Just soft organ music in the background, and sunlight pouring through stained glass windows like peace in liquid form. A woman in all white walked up to me. Her face was gentle, familiar, too familiar. "Mummy?" Yes, it was my mother, but younger, healthier. Smiling like she did before the hospital visits took it all, she touched my face. "You've gone far, Ifeani, but you haven't come back yet." I tried to hug her. She stepped back. "Not until you meet the one who sent you." A door opened at the front of the church. Light didn't pour out of this one. Darkness did. Cold, deep, complete. Something moved inside. Something breathing. Something waiting. My mother pointed. "Go!" I swallowed hard. "Who's inside?" She looked at me and said just one word, "You." I stepped into the dark, and the door closed behind me. No light, no sound, just presence. Then a match struck, one small light, revealing one small bench, and sitting on that bench was me. But not scared me. This was cold me, no emotions, no regrets, just calm. Like somebody we no get anything to lose again. He smiled. "Finally," he said. "You're here," I stared. "Here where?" "The place you built," he said. "Every secret you buried, every truth you twisted, every prayer you faked, every person you used, all of them built this place. I'm not your shadow, I'm not your sin, I'm your realest self." I backed away. "No, I've confessed. I've cried. I passed through fire, through loop, I'm clean." He stood up. "Clean, it doesn't mean whole. You think confession is enough? But you never asked for forgiveness. Not from them, not from yourself." Then he raised his hand, and around us, floating in the darkness, appeared all the people I hurt. Amaka, Kunle, that girl I ghosted after lies, that cousin I mocked, even the fake names on the Yahoo formats I used, their photos, their pain, their voice notes. All there. "You want to wake up?" Cold me asked. "Then let's do it properly. Let's finish it where it started." He reached into the dark and pulled out a Bible and a cutlass, handed both to me. "Pick one. One opens your freedom, the other, your judgment." I looked at both. My hand reached for the Bible. But my heart was reaching for the cutlass, because part of me didn't just want freedom, it wanted revenge on myself. The Bible in one hand, the cutlass in the other, and my own darker self, staring me down like Judgment Day, had a face. The silence was loud. I looked at him. This version of me who didn't cry, didn't feel guilt, didn't beg God for mercy. The me that would happily burn the world if it meant hiding the ashes of his sins. "Why this choice?" I asked. "Why give me these two?" He shrugged, calm as ever. "Because deep down, you still want to cut corners. Confess, but not change. Feel bad, but not face pain. You still want escape, not transformation." The cutlass felt heavy now, not because of weight, but because it felt like the easier option, Omo. I was tired of loops, tired of confessions, tired of 6:42 p.m. So I dropped the cutlass and clutched the Bible with both hands. Cold me frowned. Eyes narrowed, like he was disappointed. "You sure?" I nodded. "My hands are dirty," I said, "but I won't fix that by adding more blood." Then something happened. The ground beneath him began to shake, cracks formed, he stumbled back. "Wait!" he shouted. "You can't just—" But I didn't wait. I opened the Bible and began to speak, not shout, speak like someone finally tired of faking. I'm not proud. I've been fake, I've been selfish, I've caused pain, I've worn church clothes with street heart. But I want peace, I want freedom, I want to be whole. For real this time. And with every word I spoke, he began to burn. No flames. Just light. Pure, blinding, painful light. He screamed. twisted, tried to run. But the light caught up with him, until there was nothing left. Just silence. Just me, just peace. I opened my eyes. And this time, I was back in my room. Real room. Fan turning. Power on. Phone on my table. I checked the time. 56 p.m. Nipa had brought light. My Bible was still on the bed. And from outside I could hear Mama Nkechi's voice. But this time, not calling me for vigil. She was laughing. Normal laughter. Joyful. I walked to the mirror. It was just a mirror. No reflection tricks, no whispers, no cracked writing, just me. Alive, breathing. Lighter. And on my door, someone had written with chalk, "You made it. Stay clean, or we loop again." I smiled, and for the first time in years I prayed, not for blessings, but for strength.